10 minutes of more useless information about Fallout 4. If you have McCready as your companion and enter the Boston Public Library, he will sometimes say,
"Let's be careful. No human being would possibly pile books this way."
This strange comment is a reference to a scene from the movie Ghostbusters, where while trying to find the librarian ghost, Peter Venkman says,
"You're right, no human being would stack books like this."
In the Jamaica Plain Town Hall basement, you can find an Anchorage Veterans flag. Looking at the treasure inventory holotape next to it will reveal that it was donated to the exhibit in memory of Pvt McKinney, who you can actually encounter in Fallout 3's Operation Anchorage DLC, where the player can witness him being taken out by an enemy sniper.
McKinney! Jesus! You got a death wish? He's up on that ridge, right over there.
Phyllis Daly is a woman found living at the Egret Tours Marina who thinks she's a synth controlled by the Institute and blames herself for blacking out and killing her grandson Samuel.
One moment he was there, and then the next, just gone.
After calming her down and hearing her story, the player is able to either offer her to join the Minutemen, tell her to leave the Commonwealth, or just tell her to live with it. But there were actually even more options planned for this encounter that ended up being cut, like telling Phyllis to go to Covenant and take the test.
What if I knew someone who could help you?
Who the hell do you think is gonna help a synth, kid?
Go to Covenant and tell them I sent you to take the test. They can tell if you're a synth.
I'll think about it.
After a couple of days, she would have been found in the compound, locked in a cell, with a final goodbye note on her that reads, "I thought they would be able to help me figure out if I'm a synth or not, but all they do is keep asking me about a baseball team, hours and hours over the same question. Either I am, and this is some form of torture, or they have no idea either. I can't take it anymore. Samuel, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything." Another cut option would have been to report her to the Institute, either to Justin Ayo of the SRB or to Allie Fillmore.
I'll talk to the SRB. They should know if you're a synth.
Kid, I don't know what the hell the SRB is, but I would appreciate it if you didn't joke around about this.
I ran across an old woman named Phyllis Daly who thinks she's a synth.
Well, the surface is a pretty harsh place. She may have just cracked a bit. Poor thing. But we'll send a courser to make sure. Thanks for letting us know.
And the third, final option would have been to ask the railroad to help her.
I know a group who can help you. Let me get in touch with them, and they'll send someone out who might be able to tell if you are a synth.
If you say so.
I ran across an old woman named Phyllis Daly who thinks she's a synth.
That doesn't sound like anyone from our lists, but we'll send an agent to see if we can help her.
After some time, if you returned back to the Egret Tours Marina, she would have been gone and would have left a note behind that reads, "Hey kid, if you're reading this, I just wanted to say thanks. Your friends in the railroad came and they are helping me get a fresh start. Sorry about the gun, and thanks for helping me through a hard time, Phyllis." Regi Blattaria is a hostile man that spawns in a bombed-out building west of the Corvega assembly plant with a small army of radroaches. In order to encounter him, the player needs to reach level 35. What's funny about this character is that he is actually a reference to the Roach King from Fallout 3, who also had tamed an army of radroaches and even had his own Roach King throne. Regi Blattaria also translates to King Roach from Latin. Did you know that the pin 9003 that Father gives you to gain full access to his terminal during the nuclear option quest is the same one John Connor uses to withdraw cash from an ATM in the movie Terminator 2? According to a Guns and Bullets pre-war magazine cover, Street Guns of Detroit, pipe weapons are actually a pre-war creation, not a post-war. That's why you can also find them locked in pre-war safes. Just north of MedTech Research, there's a Jangles the Moon Monkey in a crashed car. If you pick him up, a behemoth will spawn behind the trees and attack you. This is also a reference to a similar encounter in Fallout 3, where when stealing a teddy bear found in a super mutant camp near the Jury Street metro station, a behemoth will spawn and start running towards you. If you ever looked at the back of a sensor module, you might have noticed an inscription that reads Flux Sensor CM88B 180924609, referencing the USCSS Nostromo star freighter from the 1979 movie Aliens. The CM88B refers to the ship's model, and the rest is the ship's registration number. When dealing with Wolfgang and Simone, the two chem dealers trying to get caps from Trudy at the Drumlin Diner, if you have a high enough speech skill, you can scare them away without resorting to violence, which will allow you to actually encounter them again in Good Neighbor, where they'll continue to hang around for the rest of the game. At the railroad headquarters, we can find an agent sitting next to a radio, listening and decoding Morse code signals. If we decode the Morse code ourselves, the 4 messages transmitted are as follows. Package lost. Raiders. Repeat, Raiders. Capital Wasteland, available for delivery. Dead Drop Disco needs a pickup, urgent. Gen 1 salvage team at Baseball, Tango 8. On the southwest corner of the Mass Fusion containment shed rooftop is a body of a man in front of a kneeling deactivated synth, a recreation of a scene between Rick Deckard and the replicant Roy Batty from the 1982 movie Blade Runner. There's a secret message that's a bit hard to see, found on the periodic table of elements poster located in the Children of Atom's shrine in the Far Harbor DLC that reads, Todd Howard is amazing in everything his hands touch, no kidding. After finishing the Great Hunt quest and helping the Mariner deal with the Red Death sea creature, it was originally intended for her to leave the island and disappear from the game world. She would have also left behind a cut note titled Mariner's Will that reads, I leave the docks and all of my other property to the community. Don't let our sacrifices be in vain. Take what we've started here and build something greater. Prove yourself worthy of living on this island. Mariner. Inside the Wixon Shovel Museum in the Nuka World DLC, there's a male and a female mannequin placed together in a way that resembles Grant Woods' famous painting American Gothic, but instead of a pitchfork, the male mannequin is holding a shovel. Some of you might already know that Dogmeat can wear his own special armor, but did you know that he can also wear welding goggles and different colored bandanas? After convincing Dr. Li to leave the Institute and join the Brotherhood of Steel, you can observe her former colleagues in the Advanced Research Division talking about her absence in their personal notes on their terminals. One, seemingly surprised about Li's betrayal, writes, I cannot believe Dr. Li would betray the Institute. Objectively, I recognize that she's gone, but I just can't believe it. And another one being mad at the others for not listening to him about Li writes, no one believed me. I warned them. I said that she couldn't really be trusted, that she wasn't honestly one of us. This is why we don't allow outsiders into the Institute. In the Far Harbor DLC, when exploring the Vim Pop Factory located south of the nucleus, we can stumble upon a CEO terminal that mentions a trademark battle that the company lost for the name Quartz to their rival Nuka-Cola. What's cool about this little detail is that Nuka-Cola Quartz can only be encountered in the Nuka World DLC and Fallout New Vegas, where when consuming it, will provide the player with low light vision and an increase in health and damage threshold. Although Vim did lose the trademark, you can still find a couple of their Vim Quartz prototype versions scattered throughout the island. When doing Piper's interview for her newspaper Public Occurrences, you will need to answer 5 questions for the article, but there's a part of the interview that was actually cut and removed from the final game, where Piper would have asked about the world before the bombs fell.
So tell me, the world back then, what was it like?
With the player having multiple unique dialogue responses, depending on your gender.
Blue skies, green grass, clean streets, a nice home with a bunch of silly appliances, friendly neighbors. Not like now. Not at all. I was a soldier.
You fought in the war? Tell me, what happened? What was it all about?
Protecting freedom. The American way of life.
Protecting a way of life. Huh.
Aliens invaded, and they brought laser-shooting dinosaurs.
Sure, and then Grognak the Barbarian showed up and married the dinosaur queen, right? Just like in the history books.
There were problems, but it was home, you know? I was used to it. I guess I just thought it was gonna stay that way. I practiced law.
A lawyer, huh? And what was justice like back then?
I made sure everyone got a fair trial, but they didn't get rolled over by the system.
The guardian of the downtrodden, huh?
Trial by combat. I racked up 30 kills in my day.
Huh. I always wondered why old pre-war courthouses have all that gladiator equipment just lying around. Anyway,